Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a good evening so far. So we are going to wrap up the Cyno story quest tonight. I think we're already pretty close to the end anyway, so I don't think it'll be much longer. Because we got past the big showdown between Cyno and the Sethos guy, the new guy. So,
Add Astra.
Alright, so we are, whatchamacallit is gone, because it's the day before the update. So, let's go ahead and do this.
What were you thinking gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, You told not a soul what you were up to, designated nobody to handle your affairs, and left everyone scrambling frantically to try and figure out how on earth to clean up the colossal mess you'd made.
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling? What other choice did I have?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, the only idea you could conjure up in that white-haired walnut of yours was to shoot off into the unknown like some hot-headed 20-year-old adventurer? A one-man suicide mission, That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with, is it? It astounds me that you survived the journey, and you're lucky that Ba Moon didn't finish you off when you arrived.
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going off on me, it's like you wish you'd been there to lend him a hand. Does it mean nothing to you that I'm your colleague and former classmate?
I've got nothing more to say. What's the point of berating an old bag of bones?
What do you mean, bag of bones? I'm a flesh-and-blood hero who, despite his old age, saved our General Mahamatra from being stripped of his powers. Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was in the wrong. How can I make it up to you? What about, a month's work at the Academia?
1 month? Try 3.
Inari's master is really laying into Cyrus. Let's give them a wide berth.
What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, we're too young to get involved.
Professor brought this on himself. Don't pay any attention to him.
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long time. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. Want to come with me? We can go for dinner afterwards. My treat. You in?
Makes sense. I'm in.
Always happy to help.
Hyman's coming too! Let's go!
Hey, Kale.
Ah, you're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days? I heard you all ran off into the desert and got embroiled in a major catastrophe.
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you too. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget, I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because if you don't,
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, guess it's time to play my ace in the hole. Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you offered to give me a tour of the academia? Does that offer still stand? Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer still stands. Come on, Madame Farazan will show you around the old classrooms. Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Farazan acting like some sort of official academia tour guide.
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What? Oh, right! What do you mean, cup? You need a cup. I can get you a cup. Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. 2 people left. Let's bring them along too. Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent studying?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole mountain of them.
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway.
My sincere thanks to you both.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly and painlessly. And the outcome was better than we could have hoped for.
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation. It explains how they managed to remain hidden for so many years.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well. I'd love to go check those out if I ever had the chance.
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and we'll be sure to maintain good relations with them in the future. Now, as a token of my appreciation, I'd like to treat everyone to coffee.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days, I don't know if I can handle another coffee. But I can just order something else.
Sure. Let's go.
Ooh, an achievement. What achievement did we get here? Uh, it's in the middle here. Collect the entire Tale of Shiruye and Shirin series. Ooh, we got a name card.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one day off. And
A new Archon quest. All right, 4.7. All right. Chlorine. And Alhaitham. So we got a Chlorine story quest. Okay.
got the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
And then the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked him right out cold. Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts.
Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but I'd have been biting my nails off worrying about you guys.
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room all the same.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Cyno.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champion.
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before. It was a pretty unique experience.
Venue was pretty impressive too. A very ceremonial affair.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books back.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later. Make sure you get some good rest tonight.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes. So, I gotta dash too.
Kale's come a long way. She's much more confident at dealing with other people these days.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop learning.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally wrapped up now. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done. And also, those desserts Cyno got, they were really good.
Paimon definitely needs more of those in the future.
Then let's come back again sometime.
Do you three have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me?
Sure, where are we going?
That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want to spoil the surprise.
Okay, I think I can guess what you're talking about. It'll definitely be a nice surprise.
Well, now Paimon's curious! Come on, let's go!
Been a while since I last made my way up here.
Wow, look at this place! We're so high up!
Need any help?
Don't underestimate me.
As you wish.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see for miles!
Traveler,
Yeah?
turn around.
It's beautiful.
This is my secret base. Somewhere I only bring my best friends. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. I was quite young then, and hadn't made too many friends yet. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Who am I? Why do I have this power? And what should I be fighting for? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure Sethos will figure things out in his own time, too.
You will remain inextricably linked to the Temple of Silence.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way.
You're a true champion now.
Of course. I see no need to be humble when it comes to the facts.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily, he has fast reflexes, so he caught it just in time.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers again.
Those were good times. I kinda miss the student life.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason, the mental image is coming through clear as day.
Then make it stop. There's somebody there. It's Professor Cyrus. You guys carry on without me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to jump down! Be careful!
Cyno has no fall damage.
Oh my days. I can't believe how stupid I look in this one.
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself about?
Cyno, just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found in some old notebooks?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I must have forgotten to take it with me, and no one's touched it since. It was still right there. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the old office to have a look around and just happened to cross it. Well, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture. Still a kid.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took it, didn't she?
Yep. A Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just the right angle to make me look so unbelievably hideous?
And this one. Looks like we're both dozing off.
Oh, cheeky girl, taking secret photos of us without our knowledge.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are good photos, aren't they? Hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. Bamoon had every reason to despise me. And well, so do you if you feel the same way.
Don't be ridiculous, you old codger.
Is that not what you wanted me to say?
Who says codger?
Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Sometimes I've dreamed that I was doing research with them again. And other times, I dream of the day they saved my life. Oh, it was one of the happiest times of my life. We all learned so much from one another. You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave. So, I will do the right thing and keep my mouth shut.
Good thinking. Take your own advice.
What's up,
next time.
Ox? How you doing?
Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were supposed to be gracious. Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did she take?
Look how cute you were when you were little. I remember how well-mannered you were back then, too.
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips, too.
Don't say that. I still have a lot of respect for you.
Huh, that's more like it. Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again sometime?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next week. Wait, no.
They're talking about
Next
your
week
favorite
is the
girl,
tomato
Ox.
growing competition. I have got to beat Zaha Hadi.
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.
Alright, the story quest is over.
Add Astro. Thank you for
Okay. Anything else I should do before I switch over to Chaos Child? I guess we could do floor 10 of Spiral Abyss. Arlecchino, Yelan, how much Chaos Child did you miss? I don't know. It's been Chaos Child's been a little slow lately. There hadn't been a whole lot that's happened the last 2 or 3 streams, really. Yeah, it's basically just like Arimura and Takaru have been kind of talking with Kunosato and Shinjo, and I don't know. Kunosato's like seems like she's like really starting to scare Takaru because she's, I don't know, she's fucking weird.
Everybody stand!
Clouds high. The birds call.
Huh? Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now.
Transfixed!
Alright, hold on.
Things are about to get dicey. Gotcha.
An unfortunate fault.
Teamwork is strength!
As one with wind and cloud.
Gather! Order guide you!
Moment of birth. Live!
Witness the power of Goku!
Stabilize!
Burst forth.
No, my sword!
That is true. Arimura doesn't necessarily have to tell the truth herself. So what do you, I mean, what do you think Arimura would be lying to Kunosato about?
Blade bare!
One with nature.
Busted. Here comes the catch.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Quietly now.
The wind knows me.
Transfixed! This is where you fall. Overruled!
Oh hell, this guy's immune. Fucker.
Things are about to get dicey. Take it easy.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night. One with nature.
Everybody stand back! Transfixed! Go on. Adventure time!
It's fine.
Bro, what the
Into
fuck?
the wind. As one with wind and cloud.
Here comes the catch.
Overruled!
Solidify!
Coming to be. Body and mind. Rain cutter. See?
Gather! I will have order!
Feel this ancient power. Live! No, my sword! Rain outlines your fate. Let me read it.
Okay, you're saying that Arimura is lying to Takaru about Kunosato's intentions?
Your journey ends here,
Let's
Lord of
light it up!
Sand. Your sacrifice is ready.
Quietly now. Clouds high. The birds come! Things are about to get dicey. Transfixed!
Let's end this now!
Off we go! The wind knows it.
Let's end this
Busted!
now!
Everybody stand back! Overruled! Everlasting as the moon! Transfixed!
Will! Yeah. Will!
Come into being! No, my sword! Time to act! Huh?
Solidify! Order guide you!
Witness my great undertaking! Burst forth! Rain cutter! See?
Alright, that's it for floor 10. Okay. What? I don't even remember what Arimura told Takaru about Kunosato's intentions. Like, what did she even say?
Add Astra.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, she's the only source of the bad juju. Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, Kunosato is proving it by the way she acts. So, no, I don't think Arimura is lying about that at all. How is that? Like, just look at the way she talks to them. Like, All right, we are going to go ahead and continue with Chaos Child now. Nah, dude, she. It's not that she's a tsundere. I think she like. Oh, Jesus. I think she like. Definitely at least dislikes them actively. Mm. Ugh. All right. Okay, so last time I streamed Chaos Child, which was just yesterday. They completed the brain scans on Arimura and Takaru, and recall that the reason they were getting the brain scans was because they wanted to compare their brains to the victims of the brains of the victims of the new gen killings so far, because they found that all the victims had enlarged brains. And so they completed the tests with Takaru and Arimura, and they determined that both of them had normal brains. So it is not the case that gigalomaniacs in general have larger brains. It's just apparently, for some reason, the victims have large brains. Where is the lolly? She's still at the orphanage. Nothing's really happened with the lolly. Kunosato tried to ask her some questions again, but she was like real afraid of her and stuff. How'd she get there? Takaru and Kurisu rescued her and took her back there. You know, now that you mention it, yeah, they don't really talk about psych meds in this visual novel, do they? Well, anyway. Yeah, and then what else happened? I think they had they talked about how they had some more time before the next new gen killing was supposed to take place, which is October the 23rd. You thought she was with Momose? Nah, dude, she escaped from Momose. Man, you really have missed a lot if you if you didn't see that, because that was a while back now. But yeah, so actually, we also found out yesterday what Uki's power specifically is, and Uki is basically able to. Okay, so you know how gigalomaniacs in general can like real boot delusions. Well, the deal with Uki is she can real boot other people's delusions. So not just her own delusions, but other people's delusions. So the way she escaped from Momose is that Momose was thinking about possibly taking Uki with her in the car to go somewhere, and then Uki real booted that thought, and then she escaped from Momose. Uki is the lolly. So, yeah. And then when she escaped, she went back to the hospital, which is now empty. Or well, I should say the hospital basement is empty. And Momose and Shinjo went after her to try and get her, but then Takaru and Kurisu distracted them, and they were able to get to Uki first, so they brought Uki back to the orphanage. Yeah. Just like we'd expected, nothing happened over the next few days. There was no sign of that woman and no new arson cases, which meant no news about the case. Yeah, we still don't. They still haven't said anything about what happened to the to all those like insane people, like the people that were experimented on and went insane. Now that the hospital basement is empty, we still don't know where the hell they went. So I'm guessing at some point we're going to find out, but yeah. For my part, I was trying to figure out how to use my power to protect everyone, instead of just screwing around like I had before. And then the day was upon us.
とりあえず今のところは何もなしか。ああ。
よかったっすね、宮代先輩。これもわざわざひなえちゃんが付き合ってあげてるおかげっすよ。感謝の印として今度専属屋のマンゴーフルーツパフェご馳走してくださいね。
何言ってんだ。お前だって狙われてるかもしれないだろ。お互い様ってやつだ。
うわー、ドケチ。ちょっとみんな気を抜くのが早すぎるわ。問題はこれからなんだから。
Takaru? Are you talking about Takaru? Did he unlock his power? Nothing had happened during school. We'd made sure that nobody was alone during break periods, and it had paid off.
なんだ山添。
Oh, you mean the picture with her and Senri?
私も一緒にここにいてよかったんでしょうか。学園の生徒でもないのに。
Why is she? Bro, they just brought her there.
今日は特別だ。 君だって能力者なんだから狙われないとも限らないだろ。
They brought her there so that she wouldn't be by herself at the orphanage, because this is the day that the next new gen killing's supposed to happen.
そういうこと。今日が無事に終わるまで絶対に私たちと離れてはダメよ。はい。
Uki had seemed uncomfortable in this new environment all day. What was up with the pick?
これからどうすんだ?
Man, that really was a while back. So, basically, Kurusu told Takaru that, obviously she knew about Senri, like, back before, the earthquake. She said that she even told Takaru that she knew that Senri was being experimented on, but she didn't try to do anything about it because she was just a little kid back then. So yeah, and they're also suspecting that the pyrokinetic woman that attacked them is Senri, because she had Senri's ID on her. And they're suspecting that the fact that Senri's name was written on this memorial is like fake news or something, and she's actually like still alive. Yeah. So you missed that too? You missed when the woman like attacked them with fire and shit?
そろそろ学校も人が少なくなるし、移動した方がいいわね。
Who scrapped it out? It was that woman who like drags her leg and shit. I think she like came like they showed her like a couple times like real briefly. But yeah, it's this woman who drags her leg. Basically, I think it was Takaru was going to go to the orphanage, but while he was trying to, well, actually, while he was going over there, he saw like a whole bunch of new sumo stickers posted, and he was like freaking out because of it. So he was like running all over the place just trying to get away from the sumo stickers. And then he came across the woman who was dragging her leg, and then the woman started attacking him and Arimura, because Takaru found Arimura while he was out too. But so both him and Arimura were trying to get to the orphanage, and then they found this woman, and the woman tried to burn them with fire and all that, and then they were able to escape without getting harmed, really. No.
渋谷で遅くまで開いている店へ行こう。悪いけどみんなも付き合ってくれるか？
しょうがないっすね。その代わり宮代先輩のおごりでよろしく。
Well, I don't know if she's really old per se, but she has like burns on her face and shit.
有村、他のメンバーはともかく、お前は割り勘だ。
先輩ひどい。鬼、悪魔。
Call me whatever you want.
それでどこ行くの？
カラオケとか？
できれば懐的に優しいところにしてくれ。
だとすると行き先はいつものあそこだね。
Oh, Cafe LAX.
ゆるりと過ごしてゆくがよい。
So this girl right here is basically like what's her name in Steins Gate? What was her name? Fanyanya or whatever. I forgot what her name is.
お主たちか。好きな席に座ってよいぞ。
Oh wait, I remember. Fairies. Yeah, Fairies Nyan Nyan. Oh yeah, you're thinking she looks like, yeah. We chose a seat by the window with a good view. Cafe LAX took over a whole floor of a classy two-story business building near Shibuya's residential district. With a window seat, we could see all around the building, and we'd spot that pyrokinetic Senri Minamisawa, if that's who she was, immediately.
閉店までここにいられるね。そのためにはたくさん注文しなきゃ。すみません。
もう一度確認しとくぞ。有村は自腹だから。
どれ？注文は決まったのか？忙しいからさっさとオーダーするように。店員さん、忙しいなら私もお店の手伝いをしますので。は？
こらこら山添、客は手伝わなくていいんだからな。ていうか手伝っちゃダメだからな。
そうなんですか？
そうなんです。
あ、私はここからここまで全部お願いします。
だから有村、どさくさに紛れてそういう注文するな。お前には絶対におごらないからな。お前、何うなってんだよ。
さっき食べたシュークリームのクリームが髪についちゃって。
How could she pull that off with hair that length?
花ってば大きなあくび。
伊藤もだ。いくらなんでも気を抜きすぎだろ。
それにお行儀が悪いわよ。
んなこと言ったってしょうがないだろ。何時間もただだらっとしてるだけなんだから。
We'd been at Cafe LAX for 4 hours already. At first, everyone had been tense and alert, but it seemed we were starting to hit our limit. Arimura and I seemed to be relaxing a little. If we were alone, we would have been afraid, but now we were surrounded by our friends. And if you added in the waitress and the other customers, there were even more people here now. I couldn't imagine someone just barging in and attacking.
おいこら、お主ら。
The waitress had walked over at some point while I was looking out the window and was standing next to me.
一体何時間 が粘るつもりじゃ。これ以上注文せんのならいい加減。ああ、します。注文メニューください。
I guess we had to order extra after all. It was only natural, but it was putting a big dent in my budget for the month.
ほれ、メニューじゃ。ありがとうございます。タク、何頼む？
Sarika took the menu and handed it to me.
そうだな。なるべく安いものと。
As I flipped through the menu, I saw... That's a sumo sticker. I felt horribly dizzy, and my eyes started to go blurry. I felt bad. It hurt to breathe. The 11th Rorschach, which had tortured Arimura and I on the night we were attacked by the pyrokinetic, was right in front of me. Everything started to go dim. Stay strong. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Okay, I managed to get a hold of myself. What? Where did everybody go? That made no sense. How?
グルス、尾上、伊藤。
Where?
和樹、有村、山添。
Chinese AM? What is that? They were gone. Not only my friends, but even the waitress had disappeared. Everybody was gone.
嘘だろ。誰かいないのか?
I called out to the back of the cafe, but there was no sign that anyone was there. Oh. I've never read that book, so... Dude, okay. Doesn't this seem like something Uki would do? Because okay, so Takaru was having that delusion because he saw the sumo sticker, and now it looks like Uki real booted his delusion, because now, like, nobody's there. I mean, I have no idea why Uki would do that, but...
くそ、なんでだよ。
This sound... All the sound had disappeared from the world. The music that had been playing in the cafe was gone, and so were the sounds of the cars that sometimes passed by on the road. There was nothing but strange silence and dark gloom. I could only hear one thing. That terrifying sound. She was getting closer. The footsteps were coming up the stairs to the cafe. Shivering with fear, I forced myself to quietly open the door to the cafe and then snuck out onto the landing. Trembling, I looked down the stairs to the first floor, and there I saw... Our eyes met. Our eyes met for an instant. I saw those eyes, like cold fire, looking up at me from beneath the hair that covered her whole face. I knew it. That was... As if she could sense my fear. Senri Minamisawa looked at me and smiled. It was the smile of a beast that had found its prey. Wow, we finally made it to chapter 8, huh? Man, it sure seemed to me like chapter 7 was the longest damn chapter in this whole thing so far. Oh, that old... Dude, they actually haven't said anything about that old woman you're talking about in like a long time. Like, I don't even know where she is at this point. I guess she disappeared along with everybody else in the hospital basement. So who knows where she is now. Alright, I will be right back, so hold on a sec. I gritted my teeth to keep from screaming and ran back into the cafe. I closed the door as quietly as I could. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm so scared. She's going to kill me. 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 Senri Minamisawa is going to kill me. I tried to scream for help, but my voice got caught in my throat. No, even if I'd been able to yell, no one was there to help me. Kurisu was gone, Sarika was gone. So were Ito, Arimura, Kazuki, and Uki. Even the waitress had disappeared. And the lighting seemed to have turned a faded yellow, too. The cafe was much darker than usual. I was too scared to speak or do anything except slowly move backward from the door. Finally, I hit the wall and found myself with nowhere to run. I could knock her flames away again. I tried desperately to psych myself up for the fight. But I couldn't see it. The D-sword. The D-sword wouldn't appear. No matter how much I tried to concentrate, the terror won out, and the D-sword refused to appear. Past the entrance to the cafe, I could hear the loud clicking of a heel against the floor, and the sound of a leg sliding across the ground. She was bringing me a merciless death. I looked around and saw a door on the other side of the kitchen. It was the employee bathroom. I flung myself away from the wall, ripped open the door, and went inside. Then I locked the door with trembling hands. There were no windows in the bathroom. I'd run inside without even bothering to turn on the lights, so it was pitch black. In that cramped, enclosed space, my heart started to pound fast, and my breathing became heavy. She was going to hear me. I needed to be quiet. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle the sound. It hurt to breathe, but if I couldn't be quiet, she'd find me and kill me. Senri Minamisawa's footsteps finally reached this floor. And then she stopped suddenly, and there was an eerie silence. I could almost sense, somehow, that she was looking for me. Just go away. Leave me alone. I prayed, but it was a waste of time. She came inside the cafe. The footsteps started again. Slowly, slowly. The woman slowly moved around the cafe. I could hear her dragging her leg from one side of the cafe to the other, as if she was toying with me. Each time she moved, she knocked glasses and cups to the floor, where they shattered. All I could do was try not to scream. I remembered all the horrible ways the other psychics had died. Don't look at me, leaky noise, revolving dead, Gatsuan death. Was that going to happen to me too? No, I don't want to die like that. How much time passed after that? Suddenly, Senri Minamisawa's footsteps started to get farther and farther away. I couldn't tell from here, but it felt like she might be about to leave. I concentrated as hard as I could on listening to those eerie footsteps. I could hear a door open and close, and then that awful dragging sound again, this time going down the stairs. And soon, there was no sound at all. I panted in relief. Now I wouldn't die in the new generation mad. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It was so utterly unexpected that I couldn't stop myself from screaming. The knocking stopped for an instant. I could sense that someone was looking at me from the other side of the flimsy door. The knocking started again. And slowly but steadily it continued. The interval between each knock was identical and mechanical. Knock, 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 knock. I tried to get as far away from the door as I could. But the bathroom was tiny, and there was nowhere to run. Who knows, dude? I mean, anything could be a delusion. I won't let her just kill me. I'll catch her my damn self. Could I beat a pyrokinetic with my bare hands? The thought flashed through my mind for an instant, but I didn't think I could take the terror anymore. I was at my limit. I screamed, unlocked the door, and slammed into it as hard as I could. The bathroom door opened with a bang. Overcome with terror, I screamed and slammed the person in front of me to the floor. But
何してるのタクル
at the last minute, someone grabbed my head from the side. I smelled a pleasant scent that I knew well.
どうしたの一体
Kurisu was beside me, holding me. And
重いよタク潰れる中身が出る
the person I had knocked to the floor was Sarika. Any more and I would have hurt her.
宮代先輩すっげえ大胆こんな場所でセリの初めてを奪おうとするなんて
違うそんなことより
I shook off Kurisu's arm and stood up.
あの女
あの女
Everyone looked confused. Sarika stood up, rubbed her butt, and started to look around the room.
あの女って誰
だから今ここにいたろ僕を殺そうとしてっていうかお前らこそ今までどこにいたんだよ
あ？どこってずっとここにいたぞ。
Ito stood up from the sofa on the window. Yamazoe and Kazuki were sitting next to him with surprised looks on their faces.
なあお主ら少しばかり騒がしいのこれ以上迷惑になるようなら即刻出て行ってもらうが
Even the waitress was here too.
そんな確かに僕は襲われたんだしかも店には誰もいなくて
Was that just a dream?
いや違う夢なんかじゃない何もかもリアルだった
I could still remember the sound of her leg dragging and the sound of the knocking at the door. Just thinking of them made me shiver.
ってことはこれもあの女の南沢千里の能力なのか偽のカフェラックスを作り出し僕だけを閉じ込めて
I thought she was just a pyrokinetic. Could she do that as well?
いやそれとも彼女の手助けをしている能力者がいるのか
Either way, the possibility we discussed at the newspaper club meeting was right, and in a bad way.
ちょっと大丈夫タクルひどい汗よ
Kurisu took out a handkerchief from her pocket and started to gently wipe the sweat off my forehead. But suddenly, her hand stopped. She looked at me, her face pale.
タクル、あなた、目から血が。
I put my hands up to my eyes, surprised. When I tried to rub them, I felt something slick, and when I looked at my hands, they were bright red. I could see my blood on her handkerchief, too. Had I been so scared and tense that the blood vessels around my eyes had burst?
どうしたのそれ。
大丈夫か宮代。
父さんに見てもらわなきゃ。行こう、タク。
Kurisu and Sarika tried to drag me out of the cafe. I could see Ito, Arimura, Kazuki, and Uki in the corner of my eye, trying to figure out what to do. I turned to them and said,
伊藤、有村、和樹、山添、お前たちも一緒に。
はい。私もいいんですか？こんな時間に？
遠慮なんかしてる場合じゃない。能力者がターゲットにされてるのは間違いないんだ。今日が終わるまでとにかく離れちゃダメだ。
We left Cafe LAX and headed for Alba Clinic.
はあ、特に目に異常はねえな。角膜も綺麗なもんだし、血圧もほぼ正常と。
Hold on one sec. Never mind. Dad nodded as he looked at me.
頭痛はするか？体のどこかが痺れるとかは？
特には。
視界の一部が欠けてたり、狭くなったりもしてないな？
うん。
そっか。なら大丈夫だ。
本当に？もっとよく見て。
Kurisu was sitting next to me, worried.
さっきからそればっかだな、お前。
だって。
まぶたの裏に血管があって、稀にそれが切れることがある。ひどい緊張や興奮をして力が入ったり、踏ん張ったりするとな。覚えがないか、タグル。
I remembered the attack at Cafe LAX and shivered. But I nodded before Dad could see.
だろ？それが原因だよ。心配ない。
Dad called up my chart on the computer, the same one he'd been using since I was in a coma. He started to type something.
おいおい、ノノ。そんなおっかない顔で睨むなって。
タクルに何かあったらどうする気？
わかったわかった。
Dad stopped typing and opened another page on the chart.
タグル、紹介状書いてやるから、明日また頭の中の写真撮ってこい。
でも。
いいからいいかって。可愛い娘が怒って、口聞いてくれなくなったら困るんだよ。
うん。
Dad wrote me another referral to the same hospital as before, which was finally enough to satisfy Nano.
ああ、そうだ、のの。お前、自分もまだ病み上がりだってこと忘れんなよ。
あ、うん。そうね。ごめんなさい。
わかってりゃいい。
Dad smiled. Kurisu and I thanked Dad and then went up to the dining room where the rest of the group was waiting.
ああ、ウキ。私アップルティー。私も。わかりました。伊藤さんは
コーヒー、ブラックで。
When we got to the dining room, Uki was running around getting drinks for everyone. I looked at the clock and it was almost 11 p.m. There was just one more hour until October 23rd was over.
で、さっき何があったのかちゃんと説明してくれるんですよね、宮代先輩。
Arimura looked at me as she sipped her apple tea. She had the same joking voice she used at school, but her eyes were serious. She seemed to have come up with her own ideas on what might have happened to me, and her eyes were as gloomy as they were when we'd first met.
話すよ。例のパイロキネシストのことだから。
南沢千里。
うん。
I glanced at Kurisu just for a second. I thought she wouldn't want to hear that her old friend might be a serial killer.
クルス、もし嫌なら自分の部屋に戻っててくれ。父さんかユイのところへ行っててもいいし。
うん。ちゃんと聞かせて。
クルス。
聞きたいの。だからここにいる。
そっか。じゃあ。
I sat down in a chair at the dinner table, and after a moment's hesitation, slowly began to describe what happened to me at Cafe LAX. As I talked, the terror started to come back to me, and my hands were soon covered in a nasty sweat. I didn't want to look bad in front of everyone, but I couldn't stop my voice from shaking.
それでその後は知っての通りだ。ドアを飛び出したら外はいつも通りのカフェに戻ってた。
There was silence for a moment after I finished. Arimura especially seemed to be lost in thought. That was, of course, because Senri Minamisawa was probably after me, her, or Uki.
殺されてたまるか。
She whispered in a low voice and suddenly stuck her hand out into the air.
おい。
Yamazoe and I moved away, surprised. Arimura had suddenly drawn her D-sword.
お前、何を。
決まってるでしょ。武器ですよ。
武器。
あんたも出せるんだよね、ウキ。もしあいつが現れたら戦う。手伝いなさい。戦うって、私そんな。いいから早く。
Uki tried to shake her head no, but when Arimura glared at her threateningly, she bit her lip. And then she reached out her hand. A giant sword appeared in her hand, too.
宮代先輩も早く。
そんなこと急に言われても、どうやって抜いたらいいかわからないんだ、それ。
役に立ちませんね。
I could hear how annoyed she was. It had been a long time since I'd seen her act this cold.
ねえ、何？どうしたの？
一体何の話してんだよ。
The others couldn't see the D sword. All they saw was Uki and I freaking out.
私たちこの前、南沢千里に襲われました。そして今日も宮代先輩が。こんなのもう我慢できない。だから。
Arimura looked at the sword in her hands and cackled.
この手で事件を終わらせてやります。南沢千里を殺して。ちょっと待って。
Everyone turned to look at Kurisu. She probably knew that she was getting too emotional about the situation, because she was hesitating more than I'd ever seen before.
あのね、千里が犯人って、本当のことなの？
証拠はまだあの ID カードと僕らの証言しかない。けど
慰霊碑にはあの子の名前がちゃんとあるのよ。それは何かのミスじゃないですか。A1 東京総合病院のデータでは行方不明になっていたんですよね。けど私見たんだもの。私の目の前で千里は瓦礫に潰されて。
Okay, she never mentioned that before. She must have been remembering something painful. She put her hands to her chest and her nails dug in deep. But then Arimura raised her eyebrows so high that I could see it from here.
クルス先輩。どうして嘘をつくんですか？
Oh, jeez.
え？
Shocked, I glanced at them, from one to the other. Arimura was staring at Kurisu with suspicious eyes. But Kurisu's expression remained unchanged, to the point where it almost seemed unnatural.
クルス先輩の今の言葉は嘘です。
Arimura's power let her tell when someone was lying. In other words, Kurisu was absolutely lying right now. But Kurisu looked Arimura dead in the eye as she spoke.
嘘なんかじゃないわ。いいえ、先輩は南沢千里が死んだところを見ていません。あなたの能力というのがどのくらい正確なのか私は知らない。
けれど彼女はもうこの世にはいないわ。
そう信じたいだけじゃないんですか？あるいは南沢千里が実は生きているのを知っているとか。
The two of them glared at each other.
もし仮に。
はい。
仮に千里が生き延びていたとしても、あの子に殺人なんてできるはずがない。
Kurasu's voice took on a sorrowful note.
千里はとっても臆病な子だった。小さな虫を殺すこともできないくらい気が弱くて、何かあるとすぐに泣きべさをかいて、だからいつも誰かの後をついて回っていたわ。
Dude, her impression of Senri before the end of the experiments has no fucking bearing on what Senri is like now. Like, does she not realize that?
もちろん暴力なんて嫌いだったし、血を見るのすら苦手だった。そんな千里が猟奇殺人なんて、私にはどうしても納得がいかない。ありえないわ。
どうやら今度は本当のことを言っているようですね。
だから。
Kurasu's voice was rarely this emotional, but she must have realized that nothing she said would matter, so she fell silent.
とにかく千里が犯人じゃないとしたら、タクルたちの憶測は完全に間違ってしまっているわ。真犯人が他にいたらどうする気なの？
それは。
Of course, I'd thought about that possibility. That there might be multiple killers. That there might be another psychic working with Senri Minamisawa.
でも、だとしても、今日が終わるまでに誰も殺されなければ僕らの勝ち。
Everyone leapt out of their chairs as we heard a scream from downstairs. Was that Yui's voice?
Yui!
Kurasu ran down the stairs. We followed right after her. Yui had fallen backwards onto the ground near the front desk. Her face was pale and her jaw was chattering.
お姉ちゃん、ねえ、どうしたの？
ユイ、大丈夫か？ユイ。
Yuto and Dad grabbed her and held her tight, but she was still shaking. The terror had completely consumed her.
何があったの？ユイ。お姉ちゃん、しっかりしなさい。
Kurisu grabbed her by the cheeks and yelled.
私、寝ようと思って、父さんにお休みの挨拶して。
おやすみなさい。父さんも無理しないでもう寝たら？
そう思うんだったら、ノノに意見しといてくれ。 あいつのせいで余計な仕事が一つ増えたんだよ。
ナナ姉はタクル兄のことになると人が変わるから。
違いねえな。じゃ、おやすみ。
おやすみ。
それで私部屋へ戻ろうとして診察室を出たんだけど、その時玄関のドアから音が。ノックの音が。私休館の人かなって思って、それで返事をしたの。
すみません、今日の診察は終わりなんです。休館でしたら夜間診療のある病院をご紹介しますけど。どうなさいました？救急車呼んだ方がいいですか？一体何なんですか？いたずらならやめてください。だからやめてください。
私ものすごく怖くなって、だけど外を見たの。もう大丈夫よ、ユイ。
Kurisu rubbed her head gently, and at last the dam burst and Yui started to cry. Everyone looked at each other, pale, as we listened to her sob. Arimura and I, in particular, had gone as deathly white as Yui. Knocking. That was the same thing I'd heard at the cafe.
やっぱり追いかけてきたんだ。
I could feel my knees shaking. I remembered the knocking and the dragging footsteps I'd heard at the cafe, and my heart began to feel overwhelmed with terror. I felt an impulse to run screaming off into the night. But strangely enough, it was Arimura who gave in before I did. She gritted her teeth so hard, I could hear it from where I was standing, and then ran towards the front entrance.
おい、有村。
She yanked open the lock on the door, and then flung it open. Then she ran out into the street, flailing her D-sword.
南沢千里！私はここにいる！くだらない小細工なんかやめて、さっさと殺しに来いよ！
She kept swinging her D-sword at the shadows formed by the streetlights.
私はもう逃げも隠れもしない！殺せるもんなら殺してみろって言ってんだ！
やめろ、有村！何やってるんだよ！
I grabbed Arimura from behind. She'd clearly gone insane. Her D-sword hadn't been real booted yet, so it just slid right through me, If it had been, I wouldn't have survived.
やだ話して殺されるのは
落ち着け。あいつは僕らがパニックになるのを狙ってるんだ。冷静にならなきゃ負けだ。なんでこんな目に遭わなきゃならないの。能力なんてなければよかった。こんなものさえなければ。
When I saw her, I realized that I'd been making a mistake. For a while now, I thought that I was starting to understand Arimura, but I was wrong. A bratty know-it-all. A normal girl who sometimes got excited and smiled a childlike smile. I was always surprised when she did, but I'd also told myself that was who she really was. But I was wrong. She was a weak little girl whose fate was caught up in events far beyond her control.
そうだ。能力なんてなければ、誰もこんなことに巻き込まれることはなかった。
No one would have been killed, and no one would have been tortured in those experiments in that basement. I hated myself for ever being proud of my powers. Why did they even exist? Who gave me these, and why? Arimura's body was shaking as I held her. And pathetically enough, I was shaking every bit as much.
おい、宮代、有村。
Ito ran up to us as we sat on the side of the road. Sarika, Uki, and Kazuki ran after him.
大丈夫か？
なんとか落ち着いた。
I lied so as not to worry them.
それより部屋へ戻ろう。ここにいたら危ない。いつ襲われるか。
And then Ito cut me off and showed me his phone. I flinched away.
まさか、また正体不明の電話がかかってきたのか。
Ito must have guessed what I was thinking, because he quickly shook his head.
違う。よく見ろ、宮代。
I stared at the phone. It had the usual wallpaper, the usual apps. There was nothing out of the ordinary.
気がついたか？
尾上、お前のも見せてくれ。
Sarika took her phone out of her pocket and showed it to me. It showed the same thing that Ito's did. The present time and date. 12:03 a.m., October 24th. October 23rd was over.
助かったのか。
Arimura swung her head around and yanked the phone out of Sarika's hands. Her fingers were shaking too much to read what it said. She stared at it again and again, and then... The strength drained from her tiny body as she collapsed into me. And then she passed out. Where's Kunosato? I don't know. Remembers Kunosato is not a gigalomaniac, so I don't think she would be a victim. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop here tonight. Oh. Alright, man. No, she's not. Why, dude, why would she hate gigalomaniacs if she herself was a gigalomaniac? Alright, so tomorrow is update 4.7 of Genshin Impact. So, I'm pretty sure we're at least getting the new story quest coming out tomorrow, which involves Chlorine. And then I'm assuming there's some event coming out probably a couple days later. So, yeah. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow. I might start streaming a little before the she hates gigalos. Yeah, that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, remember? Or at the beginning of when we started doing Chaos Child. Like you first joined and that's what we were talking about. How she hates gigolo maniacs. Anyway. Yeah, so I might start streaming a little before the maintenance period is over. And if I do, then we'll just start with Chaos Child. And then whenever the maintenance period ends and the update goes live, we will jump into the Chlorine story quest. And whatever else the update is bringing us. So, all right, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.